Hello, friends. It's been a while. Sorry. But at the same time, it just kind of is what it is, right? Consistency is not always linear. It can be hard to maintain sometimes when you have other things going on, especially if it's like heavy, dense energy emotionally. And I feel like I've been dealing with a lot of that since January. So I'm just going to have grace with myself and extend grace to myself, which has been a big theme lately. Literally said yesterday, the situation that I've been dealing with my mother. I expect her to extend grace to myself, and I had that expectation because I don't extend it to myself. And I don't know, that could be important for you, just needing to extend grace to yourself right now. You could be being very hard on yourself. In preparation for this reading, I actually felt like I was short of breath. And then I started hearing that Kelly Clarkson song, catching my breath, letting it go, turning my cheek for the sake of the show. Now that you know this is my life, I won't be told what's supposed to be right. Catching my breath. In the first verse of this song, she says, I don't want to be left behind. Distance was a friend of mine, catching my breath in a web of lies. I spent most of my life riding waves, playing acrobat, shadow boxing the other half, learning how to react. I've spent most of my life catching my breath. You could just feel like you've had to be in this energy for most of your life and you're trying to come out of it. You could literally feel like you can't catch your breath, or you catch yourself literally breathing very shallow breaths, not full expansive. When singing, they call it a 360 breath, like a full expansion of your diaphragm and your lungs. You could literally like be breathing shallowly a lot, in a shallow way, a lot of the time. And you can feel like you don't have the time, or you don't have the freedom or the space to be able to sit in any particular energy in any particular moment. But I think there's something very significant about you figuring out how to make the time. I understand if we're in a busy job and we have to work all the time, but if you need to go to the bathroom for 3-5 minutes, whatever it is, a couple times out of the day while you're at work, to sit in the bathroom and just breathe, just physically allow your body the space to breathe. I think that there's something very significant about that. I feel like you're trying to come out of this energy of shadow boxing your other half, the half that is associated with the trauma, with the pain, with the resentment, with the anger. You don't want to acknowledge it. You don't want to look at it because it's not this perfectly polished version of yourself that you present to the world in this effort to maintain the things that you have created. You could have this fear of losing it all, of losing yourself in this pain, in this despair, if you entertain it or if you turn to it. But you avoiding it is going to keep you in this cycle of feeling like you can't rest, of feeling constantly like you're on edge, like even in moments of peace and stillness. That's when a lot of this stuff tends to come up because you don't allow it space any other time. And I have a feeling that you rarely even get those moments of peace and stillness, but your body and your mental space really take advantage of the few times that you do have this. It's like you can't find rest within it. You don't like the silence. You don't like the quiet, because you really start to get into the space of your mind racing. And I feel like it's because you don't allow it to any other time. But something I've been saying a lot too lately is like, whatever you run from is going to continue to chase you. You can't get away from your past, from a way that you have had to show up and adjust in life. I feel like this song is so significant for you right now, though, and I really want you to focus on the lyrics, because she's really saying a lot. And then a lot of pressure in the head. I was feeling a lot of pressure in the head. You could have a lot of headaches. You could have very severe seasonal allergies, because I was also getting honey. but local organic honey, not that crap that's steamed and boiled all of the nutrients out of it. Honey is very significant. Honey is also very good for because it's antifungal. It's good for your gut. It's also good topically for like your skin. Like if you have abscesses or different things like that, and you don't need a lot of it, but it's also really good for seasonal allergies if you're dealing with some allergies, or if there's something with like pressure in the head, something about headaches, pressure in the head, like I said, just like a migraines as well. And yeah, so that's it for channeled things that I got before the message. We are going to get into these cards today, and this is going to be where is this energy coming from? You have this energy around you right now, and we're going to figure out where exactly this energy is coming from. What does collective need to hear right now? What does collective need to know right now regarding these emotions and these feelings, and where are they coming from? Dog is going berserk right now. We got the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, you are this workhorse, for lack of a better, phrase for it. You value work a lot. You can honestly draw a lot of your self-worth, your self-esteem, your self-concept from your work and the way that you show up within your work. I'm just going to be candid, because there was something that I said to my boyfriend yesterday. It was very much out of pocket, but like I said, I've been going through a very difficult time, and I fixate a lot on finances and financial stability, and part of it is like, it's one of those things that I know I have a certain level of control over, and I find it kind of fun in a lot of ways. Like I lately have really enjoyed paying things down, and it's like a little reward in itself. And I can't say it's like deeply attached to my worth. It's more so I know that this is one thing in my life that I can definitely control, and that I have a lot of control over. And so my fixation with that, what I had said to him though, is like, the reason why it's like something that's very important, that I find stability within, is because even if I'm depressed and I'm overweight, like at least I'm not depressed, overweight, and struggling financially. Because I've been, I feel like with mental health, like, I meditate, I do all the things. I've been in therapy for 10 years. Like, it's not like it's not for a lack of trying that sometimes I get into like a certain state mentally. And then it's like so many things that you continue to purge and cycle through and purge and cycle through. And it's just like, when is the purging and the cycling going to stop? But that's part of the journey that you have to embrace, right? But it gets very difficult sometimes, and you fall into this pattern that you thought you healed from. And that can be very discouraging and debilitating within itself. And so I started to feel like I had a lack of control over like my mental space, and like, again, trying to fix instead of letting things flow, which can be very difficult when you're looking for control. And then as far as like eating, my eating is significantly tied to my emotional state, and I have it's very, very difficult for me to like not turn to food when I'm going through something very dense emotionally. And so I feel like with money, you could also have a similar relationship with money. Is like, it's the main thing that you kind of fixate on, and you don't even feel like your money is growing or is blossoming in the way that you know it should, with as much time and energy as you put into it. But it's because it's directly tied to this disconnect that you're having emotionally. And I feel like some of this stuff, because our going back to our original question of like where some of this is coming from, I feel like it can be coming from your imbalance between like work and rest or work and play. Like there's an imbalance between how much you're fixating on your career and drawing your sense of self-worth from that, and it's causing you to suffer. One, because even if you had a job or you don't have a job, like your self-concept and your the love that you have for yourself should not change within that space. Um and I feel like there's something here about that. I feel like there could be something within your childhood that you grew up with one or more parents that drew a lot of their self-concept and their self-worth from their achievements, and they kind of projected that onto you in a lot of ways. Um, and so you don't know who you are outside of what you do. You don't know who you are outside of work, outside of money. You're afraid to let people in because there's a version of you that feels like that's the most interesting thing about you is what you do, is your job, is the money that you make. Like you're very much afraid that the other things are not good enough to keep people around or to hold their attention or to have them intrigued. And so a lot of your relationships could be very shallow and vapid, and you can also have this nature and dynamic within your relationships in which a lot of the times you are the giver and you resent that, but you also hold that very close to you because it makes you feel needed. It makes you feel necessary. I'm hearing essential personnel. It makes you feel essential. You could also have a job that is considered like one of the essential personnel. If you go back to COVID, I think that was like nurses and doctors and, firefighters, policemen, the jobs that are considered essential. Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, a lot about the Pentacles energy, and I feel like there's something deeply tied to it with your family. I'm drawn to go back to the song, I don't want to be left behind. Distance with a friend of mine, catching my breath at level lies. I spent most of my life riding waves and playing acrobat. I heard black sheep, and then I heard golden child, and then I heard them put together, golden sheep. You were put on this pedestal as if like you were going to be the saving grace of your family, the savior of your family, but you've stepped into this black sheep energy now. And it's causing you some distress because it's like you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 1 foot in an old life, in an old standard of what people thought you were supposed to be or who you even thought you were going to be. And you're in this new reality of you're recognizing where the dysfunction is and you're trying to change it, but you're finding it very difficult, this 1 foot in, 1 foot out sort of energy. You're still very much around the same people that had these expectations. Got the Hermit card right there next to it, which is great. Because you do have this Hermit sort of energy, this very leadership-like energy. But you are still around these people that had these expectations of you, but you're very much turning away from standards and customs in the life that was expected of you. You could be a person that doesn't want kids, doesn't necessarily want a family, sort of like a lone wolf energy, especially when we're drawn to this Hermit card. People could have plotted out your life for you. Oh, you're going to have, a white picket fence, 2.5 kids or whatever they say, a dog, 6-figure job. Like this is like your life was very much kind of, they planned it out for you, and you're not going with the grain whatsoever. You're going against the grain, and it's causing you some distress because you could feel like you are abandoning whoever this group of people is. You could also feel like you're There can be a part of you that struggles sometimes and questions yourself as if you're doing something wrong, because it hurts what you're doing. It feels right, but there's a part of it that doesn't feel right. And I'm here to tell you that the part of it that doesn't feel right is the the wounded inner child who who needed love and gained that love from the validation and approval of other people. Just because what you're doing right now hurts, it does not mean that it's not right. You walking away from people, places, jobs, circumstances that are not serving your highest good, just because it hurts does not mean that you're not doing something right. I'll tell you, a lot of times when it's not something that's meant for us, there's a lot of obstacles that come up, and not obstacles mentally, but literal physical obstacles, like lots of delays, and it can be this diversion sort of thing. But if it's flowing, but it hurts, it's right. Just because it's causing you a certain level of distress and it's causing you to question yourself, it doesn't mean that it's not right. And I'm going to keep the Hermit card out because you are this Hermit card energy. And then we got the Emperor right up under it in the reverse, because you're trying to get into this Emperor energy. But right now you feel like you're a little turned upside down, like you're not connected with this true version of yourself. And you don't feel like you're connected to this true version of yourself because you're still trying to figure out who exactly this true version of yourself is. Like, you don't necessarily see yourself as the Hermit or the Emperor. You don't see yourself as necessarily a leader, even though you live your life with the expectation of a person that has a high level of esteem. You know, you're very morally, you're very like, you take your morals very seriously. Like, you take your word very seriously. You take the way that you interact with people and the way that you show up with people very seriously, which is why they see you as this Hermit energy, which is why they look to you for wisdom and knowledge. And I'm hearing like the spark of the divine. Like, they look to you to be a helper, a healer. Again, you have a very giving energy naturally, and sometimes it can feel like a disadvantage or a burden, um because you give a lot of the time from an empty cup. You give from a cup that only has a couple drops left, and instead of you saving those couple drops for yourself, you're still giving them away, which is why this giving sort of relationship does not feel like something that you want to do. But it's, you know that there's a part of you that's meant to be this person that gives, but you're not meant to give from an empty cup. You're meant to give your overflow. We're going to keep the Emperor out too, because you are stepping into this energy. This is who you are meant to be. You're just in this liminal space within your process in which you're shedding the old and you're stepping into the new. And that's what we get, especially with these two cards coming out after our cards to kind of represent where that energy is coming from. It's coming from, again, those expectations and this fixation that you have with external validation, and not just external validation from people, but again, external validations from your circumstances, from your finances. You identify a lot with numbers, with the amount in your bank account. It makes you feel worthy. When it's low, you feel unworthy. Same thing with, you know, your credit score. I feel like there's something heavy here about you and finances, in this relationship that you have with finances. And I can tell you that the more that you're fixating on it, the less you're able to hold on to it, because if it does have this direct correlation with your worth, if you feel like intrinsically you're not worthy, it's only going to open you up to a certain amount of abundance. Because in reality, even though you may feel like you're more worthy when you have a higher amount in your account, and you feel less worthy when you have a lower amount in your account, at the baseline, you still don't necessarily feel like you're worthy. Because worthiness is not based on anything external. You know, like I said earlier, whether you have a job or you don't have a job, you could be homeless or live in a mansion. If you really have a strong self-concept and you truly love yourself, regardless to where you're at in that journey, you still feel worthy. And I'll say, use an example of somebody outside of you, because sometimes it's hard to relate it when it's with us. But if you have a child, or, you know, a partner, or, I mean, a partner that you truly love, like, if they lost it all today, is the amount of love that you have for them going to change up or down. I feel like a lot of the times it's even easier when we speak about children. If you have a child that is yours, or just a child that you're very close to, you know, if they went and lost it all, would you tell them, oh, you know, you're, or like, you know, you're not worthy, or I don't want anything to, like, no, you wouldn't reject them because of this part of their life that they're kind of struggling with. And I feel like you need to extend that same level of grace to yourself. We're gonna pull one more card, and then I'm gonna do 2 oracle cards. Thank you, Spirit. Literally gave me 2 cards, so we're gonna rock with that too. Okay, yeah, we got the 5 of wands. I think 5 is significant for you in general. Transformation, energy, transformative sort of period in your life. You could feel like things are moving fast. Again, that catching my breath sort of energy. I feel like right now you are in a... Things could be very busy right now, but I think that they're probably the most quiet in some ways that they've been. And you need to utilize whatever extra time you have right now to sit still and breathe, because I feel like there's something about something speeding up in your life once you move through this stagnant energy. Once you move away from these places, these people, places, and things, once you move away from these places and you start looking forward instead of behind, I feel like there's something that's going to be accelerating very quickly for you. This could be in love, is the first thing that I'm hearing. But this could also be financially. This could also be as far as career opportunities. This is why it's important for you to really heal this relationship with yourself. And there's no time to that, right? It takes as long as it takes. But I feel like there's something about after you reach sort of this breaking point, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but even when you reach this point of seeing yourself as just even semi-worthy outside of anything else, I feel like there's something that's going to start to speed up, something that's going to start to accelerate, something that you've been asking for a while that's going to come into your life. And if this is around love and a relationship, I feel like it could come in a very just very beautiful, unexpected, not even happening when you were fixating on it, but just kind of reaching this point, which I resonate with, when you found peace within yourself, when you've learned to take care of yourself even a little bit. You're going to get this person that comes in and loves you in a way that makes you realize what love really feels and really looks like. And some of that and that understanding is going to be from this time that you spent with yourself. Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords. I feel like this is what you're mastering right now too. The art of strength, but also grace. The art of knowing that you have the tools to cut somebody down in a very tense moment, but choosing to give them grace, to be kind. I feel like this is something that you're very good at, actually. You're very good at regulating your emotions in high tense environments, which could be something that you adapted from childhood, but could also just be something that you've worked very hard on. It's not crashing out when, when honestly a crash out might be called for. Like, instead, I feel like there's something about you that kind of, your energy is very grounded. This could be something that people look up to a lot in you and tell you, like, how did you become so calm? Like, this person just cussed you out and you're like, genuinely, are you okay? Like, because that reaction you just had over this situation is very big. So are you okay? Like, there's something, and there's just, that's such a dope quality to have, to be able to be that person in a room full of just people just crash, and you're just like this is not useful. And I feel like there's something about you, like you have the full wit and ability to just, you could really, if you if you were a different sort of person, like tear somebody down with the tools that you have, because I feel like you could also definitely have a deep understanding of other people, but you're very much gentle. I feel like people can also kind of see you as like hard, cold, kind of just like standoffish sort of, but you're very gentle. You might even be the sort of person that, again, like presents as like very just stoic and emotionless, but you know, you see a sunset or a butterfly and you're like crying over how beautiful it is. Whoever you are, you definitely have a beautiful energy. You're a beautiful soul. And I feel very blessed and honored to be able to read whoever's energy this is today. What areas of your life are you avoiding? Are they causing you upset, worry, disrupted sleep? If so, these are the areas you need to focus on. As much as you don't want to, it is necessary. Tackle your demons head on. Don't allow them to rule you for a second longer. You got to stop running. You got to stop running. It's going to keep chasing you, love. You got to get real with yourself, honest with yourself about why you even feel the need to run. What is it that you're running from? It's okay if you don't know the answer right now, but start asking yourself that. If you find yourself stuck in a situation you are unhappy with, ask yourself, why are you still there? Is it fear of the unknown? Leaving toxic situations or people can be the best thing you could do for your soul and your spirit. Be fierce. I love these oracle cards. I got them off Shein. Best purchase I've made, because they hit so hard on literally what everything that I've said before that is, and they just summarize it in just such a great way. Yeah, I feel like something about a job here, a familial situation, a friendship group, there's something that you keep entertaining that is not serving your highest good in this highest timeline, and it's also blocking your abundance. I'm gonna rope this in about the giving part. Because one thing that one of the healers that I went to Bali said that really resonated with me is that he really connected how our money is a form of energy. And when you give your money away to people that you know have malice in their heart against you, or you know, even if it's certain people around you, or like if you give it away to like a homeless person, and they're on drugs, or they deal with alcoholism, and they go and take that money, that energetic exchange that you just gave them, and they go and buy a bottle, and then they get in a car and cause a car accident that night. There's karma coming back to you because you were part of that energetic exchange. And that's not to say don't give to people, but there's a difference between, you know, especially when it comes to your money, you know, buying someone a meal, or that's perfectly fine. But when it comes to your energy, especially around giving to people that you know don't like you, there is something karmic that comes back to you. And it's also why, it could be why you have a hard time holding on to money, because you can find yourself just giving it away willy-nilly like it means nothing to you, and therefore it's kind of causing this drought around your financial abundance right now. So that could be significant for you as well. But that is the end of this reading. I did not mean for it to go on this long, but it is what it is. It went on as long as it needed to. I appreciate you guys for all of your time and your energy. If you made it to this part of the video, please like, comment, subscribe if you feel led to. Again, thank you for your time, and I send you off with love. Have a great day.